What's up, guys? Welcome back to my first property podcast. And as usual, we always have a friend and a guest, but this one has a bit more meaning and a bit more depth, right? Because we'll talk about that later. Anyway, we have a very senior person within the property development marketing side of things, Mr. Christian.
Hey, hi.
So, you want to say, introduce yourself a little bit?
Hey, hi, I'm Chris Chen. Basically, I'm in property development. So,
How long already?
how long? Since 2008, I guess. Yeah.
2008 was your first property gig. How long is that?
2007, 2008, yeah, around that time.
That's 2023. Wow, 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years. But you didn't start off straight away property, am I right?
No. Yeah, it was it was a decision to change
Cool.
industry.
We'll talk about that later. But some background to this person here. He used to be my boss. So back then, I was a very rebellious kid within a property development company. So I got transferred here and there. So I'm like a footballer. So kena tendang here, tendang there because nobody wants to adopt me. So I was that bad. So I always create hoo-ha, then next department, hoo-ha, next department. So he got me. Then I still remember the first week only I go in there, I try to finalize an artwork myself. Then I was so rebellious, right? If you think it's shit, I will pay on my own. They're like, no, like, Sean, you idiot. Then we, at the first month, we quarrel a lot. But what was your perception back then? Like,
Well, I think at that point of time, you are definitely, we always say that 有性格, you are someone with character. And not easy to manage. Okay, but one thing I mean, those days I observed one thing is that I still remember you told me this. Don't tell me what to do. Tell me what you want.
yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how I speak to my boss. Imagine you slap the flirt, when you speak to me like that. Wow. Yeah. So anyway, after I got into marketing, this is when I know nothing about property marketing. So I learned basically everything from him. So now we can talk about, like, those days there were only events and press ads.
Yeah.
Radio
Shows, radio, yeah, those traditional medias. Yeah.
And now when we move into social media, it's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
The main culture shock, because I was there when Instagram was around already. What happened was he assigned me to check with my senior on a press ad to release. So my senior was circling every single word. So after, the creative agency will send in a press ad, then they will circle every word to check for
Typo.
Yeah, check for typo. Okay, because once this thing is out, it will be printed across Malaysia.
Yep.
So there will be several different checks just to make sure one ad is okay to go out. To me, it's like ridiculous. It took me a button. I put it up, click. Oh, typo, edit, click. Right? So that is the era where he came from, and I like also like how he taught me about property exhibition. Okay. Again, these are the moments where I have photographic memories, I did call it, right? So I just realized I got. Anyway, he was talking about kelong. How kelong, its design is when the current comes out, the fish will all flow in happily. Then suddenly when the current is out, you don't know where to run. So if you look into property exhibition within those expo, right, that's his strength actually.
Sure, I remember. I realized you have very good memories.
Yeah, now only you know, right? So he taught me all this kind of thing, right? When expo was not relevant already at that time, because everything can be searched on internet, but so can you tell me, like, when you started marketing, right? How you should always go in marketing or?
Yeah, I mean, I was from FMCG background.
Aircon, right?
No, basically it's consumer goods, all kinds of electrical. Right. And of course, then I was thinking, it has reached a saturated point. Then I was just thinking, hey, maybe, I should look into different industry that makes money. So at the point of time, there are three industry that I have in mind. One is telco, because telco, profit was very good those days.
Maybe thinking back, telco might make better sense, right?
Then second one is F&B, because that was my passion. And then the third one is real estate. Because I look at all the tycoons are all from real estate background, So I was thinking, okay, maybe I should venture into real estate. That was when, I make a move lah. And I start all again from, basically doing property industry. So when I first came in, of course, I know very little about all this property marketing because it's totally very different.
Yep.
And those days, my boss hired me because of my crazy ideas. I still remember when I first came in, I have an argument with my colleagues because those days we were selling landed homes. Like
Last time only landed homes last time.
bungalows, semi-Ds and all this. So the way they calculate, the per square foot is, you just take the price,
Divide by build up.
divide by build up. I said, hey, semi-D bungalow, what about the land? So I said, I disagree. That should not be the way to calculate. The way I do it is I will split the land and the building. So what is the land cost? And then I look at purely the building. This is the build up and this is the per square foot. So those days, the way I market it is a bit crazy lah. I still remember one of the ad we read, we actually did was get 1 million, in 10 years by investing in property.
Wow.
So you probably think, where does the 1 million comes from? Actually, is by putting certain amount of money into those investment link kind of insurance and whatnot. So those are the packaging.
Yeah, also last time, right, marketing for property is very different. Right?
Very different.
So everybody was thinking about, okay, what's the tagline, what's the angle, what's the color schemes, what's this? Now you have me. So you have one guy, because information is so overload already. So like, when's the last time I bought a newspaper? So I don't know. So, but then that's why the whole entire approach to property, right? That's why it's very important. Like now, changing from different field to property marketing as per se, right? What's the main difference that you realize property is different from other segments?
Well, property is something that you want to see, you want to feel, you want to touch. It's basically you're talking about buying a few 100,000, could be few million. It's not like consumer goods whereby I just today I just grab and go. So that is very different. And of course those days if you're talking about you want to look at the property, you have to build the show unit. And I still remember those days, the problem with getting people to come to the show unit, every week we need to do events.
Yeah.
And literally every week is a different events. Until a point my boss told me, you all can actually start your own event organization already.
Exactly. That was my finding when I was going to marketing, right? There was zero conversation about the product. Means that, you know what we are selling or not? Apartment? Oh, hey, what's the event for this week? What's the catering like? How many packs are you preparing? Who is the EO? EO is event organizer. Then what's the artist name? All this, the messaging all going out already or not? Because last time, in order for a message to go out, it needs 2 weeks to roll out. You need to give the newspaper, give the magazine, give the radio. Okay, now everybody go live. Now it's click. Right? Last time the coordination was so crazy, right? Then the food choices also, he go whack me for food choice. I don't think this is nice. So when you eat this is too heavy for the dessert. So and me coming from an architecture background, come in, can I whack for food or? What the hell is this? And to me, I realized the difference is when like previous weeks, I went to Singapore for a phone launch. Phone launch is so extravagant. They fly all these so-called influencer in. The marketing budget is expecting zero, expecting nothing on them, nothing but exposure. But from property, very different, right? This event, we close how many? Why this event works better? Is it a timing thing? So few more weeks, there's a long weekend. What do we do there, right? All this, when are the car parks going to happen? And when the supply is actually restricted, let's say I only have 300 units, it's very, I think it's easier to market than an infinity type of product. Like FMCG is infinity. Yeah. How much can people buy? We produce. So the marketing, budgeting and costing is very different. So that's what I learned. So the main difference then is like, a lot of people, I don't know whether you agree with this, project marketing or property marketing, actually there's a timeline to it. Before launch, then during launch, after launch is very hard to market really.
Well, I would say it all depends on, of course, first of all, the price point, and if you are selling a little bit more luxurious, then of course the target segment is slightly different. Then perhaps you probably need to put in a little bit more marketing effort after launch. But if your product is good, I think eventually you'll be able to sell off.
Okay. So for those who are in marketing, I think you all will appreciate this next segment, right? How do developers determine budgeting for marketing?
If you mean you mean the marketing budget?
Like how do they determine? What's the percentage like or whatsoever?
Well, I would say it's pretty standard across lah. You know, it's approximately maybe 1.5 to 2%
Of GDV, right? Okay, GDV is gross development value. So for example, a product is like, let's say now it's Chincai also 400 million, right?
approximately.
Okay, the 500 million easier to calculate. Okay, 500 million per project is a gross GDV. Okay, 1.5% of that is 7.5 million. So 7.5 million will be the marketing budget, and then the argument between different companies will be like, does it include the discount? Does it include the rebate? Does it include the lawyer fee? Does it include the event? So how much you place for activation? How much you place just in case things don't go well? So 7.5%, if everything sold out, then we untong. If cannot finish, then how do we correct more of the budget, right?
Yeah.
That was my 6 months knowledge with them. I was with your 6 months only, right? I think 8 months.
Yeah, I think
Very short.
less than a year. Yeah.
And very short only. So I realized a lot of the team within developers itself, they are too focused on all this. Like the amount of Excel, they are Excel experts on how they do pricing, orientation, how you load, right? Usually when after you have a floor plate, right, how would a normal marketeer load premium?
I think nowadays premium is very different from those days. You know, those days you probably during the good times you probably have floor premiums, view premiums, you know, and then certain unit maybe corner premiums, you know, all kinds of premiums that you can think of. Now I think of course one of the things is that definitely valuation kicks in. You know, we try to basically minimize whatever premiums it is, that so long as it is within the valuation.
Means after handover, the valuer do not take the view as a premium.
No. Say for example, let's say normally your lower floor is cheaper. The higher you go is more expensive, right? I mean, you can load those days. You can be 8,000 per floor or whatsoever. Then your lowest to the tallest, you're talking about there's a huge difference. But whether when you come to the high floor, you can still get loan or not.
Okay,
It's where the valuation comes in.
When let's say 40 stories, then you will have almost like a double kind of situation.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I remember those days, some can go as high as maybe 100, 200,000 difference between the highest and the lowest floor. Now, I think the floor premium probably 500 to 1,000.
Just because the floor amount has increased lah. Is it because of more of that?
Well, yes, the floor has increased, but I think importantly is that we also have to make sure that the higher it goes, the price is still meet the valuation figures. Yeah, and importantly is our purchaser are still able to get loans.
Yeah.
And like those days we always sell view premium. Now we never sell view. Because we don't guarantee view.
Oh yeah, this is a big thing.
And we always, we always even in brochures and whatnot, we always claim it as facing instead of view. Yeah. So
I see these are the words, like facing, not views. KLCC facing.
Yes.
Jialat. If you KLCC view, then suddenly there's a huge block. But again, no promises, especially when like the project that we just visit, the one in Gombak. So suddenly, nice view. Then you look at the excavation happening already. Oh yo, xiao liao. How do you calculate build up? Does it include aircon latch and balcony?
Okay, if the aircon latch is part of the balcony, yes. If the aircon latch is, say for example, you have to climb up from the window or you have to climb up from the yard or whatsoever, then that is definitely the accessory parcel. Yeah, which is not part of the
build up. So the build up is then like, for example, if it's 900 square feet, that is the area where I can step on.
Yes.
Right? Then buta one. So like if those that open door into latch one, then that one is considered. Or is it determined by the marketing they want to determine? Then?
No. Okay, say for example, now they say, when you walk out to the balcony, then sometimes you will have a latch just beside a balcony. So, in terms of the access, in terms of the finishing is all the same. Except that you just have additional space for the aircon, right? So that is also considered part of the build up. Yeah. You see, the reason is we also have to think about, let's say when you install or when you maintain the aircon, is it easy to access, or is it that you have to risk your life? Because I've seen those. Yeah, I mean, even my own unit, I've seen a 20 years old guy. He just climb up and he just install the aircon. It's actually very dangerous. So we also have to think about that.
Okay, so that's the thing. And what are marketing strategies, right, that you wish customers would know?
Marketing strategies that wouldn't want customer to know. Marketing strategies.
Like okay, so for example, like sometimes, but now, of course, like, everybody want Penang Tang, right? People want close to the city,
Yep.
cheap,
Yep.
big build up, beautiful facilities, yet
Yep.
affordable.
Yep.
You build yourself also cannot lah, right? How I wish, I also wish I will have this kind of thing. But then like now I see lah, I think this first quarter of the year, the amount of launches is very little actually. New launches lah. But when we see the surrounding projects right now, it's all pretty similar. It's going to be just another apartment.
Okay.
Then how do you find angles for a particular project?
You mean to differentiate from the rest?
Yeah.
I think nowadays the challenge is always like what you mentioned, I use the word PLC, Penang Tang, and that, I mean, you want to find that balance is actually not easy because land cost is never cheap. Cost of material is increasing. If you're talking about before pandemic and now, if you do the same renovation, I think easily it's 30 to 50% increase. So inflation is very real.
Yep.
But again, we cannot keep our price too high.
Yep.
So that's when I think what we always do is that we have to first of all study the market around there. Say for example, I've got one project that is surrounded by a lot of mixed use development, and I think that project you also visited before.
Yep.
So we can actually do mixed use development as well, but we decided then, okay, I'm going to take out retail. I'm going to do purely residential. And we put in a lot more greens, as in, real trees and all that. I mean, not say real tree, but we did tree transplants to make it a lot of very different in terms of greens, sustainability, and that is different from the immediate surrounding areas. So eventually that project actually stands out, and we managed to sell off everything even, before the vacant possession. And at the same time, able to keep the price in the affordable range. Yeah. So those are the challenges.
And you touched on a very important point. Like the more when I liaise with developers of different companies, right? I notice a lot of marketeers are packaging specialists.
Okay.
Means that, okay, whatever product, hey, do your thing. They will tell me, okay, now in the market is they will give like 8% rebate, 1% if you can sign your SPA within 24 days. Then another 1% if you're a whoever VIB. Then if your loan is agreed, whatever. So they can do all that. But then like they don't even know what's the selling point of the product. And the common excuse is, actually our pricing too high lah. But never marketeers, right, zoom into the product itself.
Yeah.
Like let's say when you have high density, right, but nobody talks about lift speed. Nobody talks about the retail below. Nobody talks about the architectural block massing, right? How is one better than the other, right? Yeah. So again, if you're a marketeer, right, I would really suggest that is when I was working with him. My role was, because I'm an architectural grad, Sean, okay, look into a floor plan. So I'm working just like a design department stuff on a marketing hat. And then I check all their drawing. This one not accurate, this one not nice, this one whatsoever. So to the extent, like now until when I go into all the units, right, sometimes I think back, I sound like you. Okay, standard living room, 10 feet ma. The chair, the sofa will take 2 feet ma. The TV cabinet take 1 feet ma. Table 1.5 feet ma. So how much left for circulation, John? I was not listening. Then, so if 10 feet is the standard, so if we shrink a little bit, we don't put the table, we can do 8 feet. Or 8 feet sounds small, but the master bedroom will be bigger. Then the balance between the line, then the project team will come and whack us. Hey, you shift the grid line too much, then it's not efficient or whatsoever. I don't know whether you still remember, but all is still in my head. That's why now all those becomes very important things, especially when we are working in a property developer. Yeah. Ultimately, it's about product. So like the now entrance, the lobby and all, I'm flashing back too much. But going back to yourself, right? What are the things that you wish you would know earlier before coming into property marketing? So like if there's an aspiring audience who wants to join property development, because they always think that the marketing stuff very fun one. So what would you be the thing that you hope you understand earlier?
I think definitely if you have the chance, go and walk the site.
Oh yes.
I always tell my marketing staff, you need to read plans, because like what you say, what's the point that if you only know how to market, but you do not know the product?
Yep.
And you need to know as much as possible until you are basically the specialist. Literally, you can answer any questions from the buyer.
Yep.
Like they will ask, how come this is like this? How come you don't provide this? Like one of the very common questions that nowadays purchaser will ask, why is it that my fire escape staircase is not locked? This is one of the questions. Those days, I mean, of course,
no one cared.
No, because those days, I think you can actually lock the fire staircase, whereby it's one way.
Yeah.
But I think because due to the new bomba requirement, you cannot lock. Because otherwise, if there is a fire, of course, they will have to ensure that they're able to enter, you see.
No, I think it's a one way so when I go in, it's always not locked, but I cannot come out from the...
Yes. But assuming, anything happened.
Yeah.
The all the firemen have to run up the staircase.
I actually want to access that.
You have to access the door, but you cannot access because it's locked. It's one way.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
So we're waiting of going out, but
Correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Even in the condo that currently I'm staying, it's also one way lock, because those are the
old building.
The new ones, of course, you can't do that. So then sometimes the purchaser do not understand how come like this. Then are you saying that, which means everyone can still walk freely throughout? But unfortunately, that is the bomba requirement.
Yeah. Cool. And many do not know Malaysia's building fire requirement is very high. It's very extremely strict, to the extent where the materials of the door... Oh, one question.
Yeah.
Lift lobby, right? Why some condos don't need to have the lift fire, the lobby door? Why some need?
Well, I don't know whether I should answer that question.
But okay so it's very easy. Let's say I pay more money, then I can get away with it But
yeah,
but I think architecturally, without the lobby door, I think it's way more comfortable
It's basically if it's without the door, then that means your lift door has to be
fire rated.
Correct.
Oh, so if I were to put a fire rated door before the lift lobby, so the lift doors can be cheaper. Oh, so it depends which one I want to do lah.
Yeah. If let's say you have 6 lift, it's just about you are doing 6 instead of just that.
So it's cheaper to have the...
Yeah, it's a cost.
It's a cost thing lah. Okay, I look in UBBL, nothing states that one. So I look around, flip upside down, nobody can answer me. Christian to the way. Okay, then of course I think some they just open the lift door, then they will have the fire magnet thing. In any case, fire they let go, then the YAM lock. Yeah. Or they call it YAM lock. Yeah. YAM.
I mean, but again, this thing is costly.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, it's like we are trying to find the balance between
selling price and the cost.
Correct. I mean, if you want everything, we can also put in. Like one of my project, I mean, of course, we put in all these things, but of course, then you have to
pay lah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I want everything, but then expensive lah.
Okay, it's like full spec cars,
Then okay, so now it's more because you are in the marketing team, right? So you directly know the trends. There are trends where now buildings don't want the voids. So now the voids, right? They all the
air well you're talking about,
the air well
where normally the kitchen faces.
Yeah. So now they all take out, or straight away in the corridor they put straight up all walls.
Okay.
Then the benefit of that, the profile of the building has more character instead of flat. Because some you need to set in already ma. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I would say I mean there are always pros and cons. If you look at the air well, it's natural ventilated. If you were to close up everything, you need to provide mechanical ventilation. First of all, cost is one thing, your maintenance is another thing. Are you willing to pay a higher maintenance cost? And the third, you see, when we talk about ventilation, it's not only in terms of air ventilation, but also natural lights as well. So are you saying that you are prepared to pay for like 24 hours light on? Those are the things that we have to take into consideration as well.
I think the project I haven't built yet because they just found a way where there's zero mechanical ventilation, but no air wells. That one is a colleague of ours also. I just go and that one pretty nice. But the corridor then has to be full 24 hours lighting.
Yep.
Then it depends on the building length. Is it very long? If it's very long, right, it feels exactly like a hospital. So if you put yellow light at night, then I'll go back. Especially when you clip, right? Wow, scared. Suddenly clip, and then another thing appear. So yeah, so those are the things that it needs a lot of experience, especially in property. Like do you think like within your team members, right, the amount of projects that we see directly reflects in the work that they do?
Again, your question?
Do you see a difference between a project who sees a lot versus a marketer who just basically whole day stay in the office?
You visit, it will be better, you know, like especially if you walk the site. And
how common is it for marketing to walk the site?
Not common at all.
Not common. Until today, it's still not common.
Like sometimes I will pull my, I will ask my marketer, hey, come, let's follow me, you know, go and walk the site. He say, no, I don't want, you know.
Or dirty lah, hot lah, messy lah, right? When I was with him, I was always inside. And then you need to call, where are you? Come in for meeting. Because I don't want to go meeting. I'd rather be inside. Because I'm so comfortable at site. Yeah, so, and because of that, like now, I think that reflects like in the channel as well, like the obsession towards the lift corridor, the common corridor with the height, the ceiling treatments, the floor trap, the edge of the parapet wall at the corridor is slanted. Do you have the nook for the water thing? The texture for the air well, all those kind of thing. All those obsession comes from him. Because last time when you go to site project, people will look at speed. Hey, finish already or not? We have 12 more months only. We got another 28 floors. Hey, you guys better mark out faster how to do things faster. But then as marketing, when they go to the site, it's like, oh, end product will eventually fall on the customer. How would they feel like? So this kind of thing, how I wish more marketing people will do. Yes, but it's then they'll tell me then like, you know, then who do my work? Okay, your take. Do you support external creative agencies or in-house?
Okay, first of all, we look at the company as in
the size,
whether they have the capacity to hire their own, right? Because then if you were to hire your own, then obviously you need a head to run that particular, you know, let's say if it's creative or be it digital or whatsoever, right? You probably have to have that head to lead that team. And otherwise, then I think a lot of company nowadays they actually hire external parties, which they could be exposed to, you know, maybe more developers, more project marketing and whatnot. So perhaps giving better advice. Yeah, but I always believe this one thing, which is, you know, I always tell my marketing staff, don't always rely on your agency. You need to know what you want. Otherwise, you are just literally throwing everything to them and expect them to do everything for you. You know, so that's very important. Yeah, so I even tell my guys sometimes, hey, you need to plan 1 year ahead. What exactly you need, you know, to achieve, and how you want to message certain things. Yeah, so those are things.
Cool. But these are the debate, right, where when I speak to a lot of marketing people within the, then during lunchtime, they will ask me, hey, you think the digital agencies are charging way too much and then got no results, then you cannot charge them against them. They'll promise all this kind of lead, cost per lead or whatsoever. Didn't achieve also, and we cannot do anything about it. Then they have a client who pays way more than us, then they focus on that first, the resources, and all, we cannot do anything. Then but if you were to train up internal staff, then eventually agencies pay better. Then after you train them already, then they're going to go and leave. Also another problem. Yeah, so to me, seriously, I don't have the answer. But that's why I'm not in where you are right now. I don't have a human resource problem. Is it very hard to hire now for talent in developer?
I would say, of course, it is always hard to hire the right staff for the right role. I mean, hiring people, I don't think that's an issue. But whether the person fit into the role, that is always a question we have to ask.
Because I noticed this, it takes a person to live through some life. I thought I'm very old at it. Live through some life in order to appreciate real estate. Like when I went to the phone event, I'm a dinosaur. Everyone was like 21, 22, GM, 25, wow, BB, whatsoever. Okay. And they know everything about the phone. How phone works, this one distribution channel, how to take over that kampong, how they do this, right? Very interesting. But then for property, no. It's still I won't call you old, but it's still...
I think it still boils down to, I mean, if let's say assuming you just join any company per se, if you're joining the marketing department, obviously initially you're just learning, the pure marketing, or the pure sales and marketing related matters. But eventually you also need to learn about the products. Yeah. So that's why, like what you mentioned just now, the product is also very important.
Yeah.
But property is very complicated because you have so many things, that you have to involve, not only the architectural,
the engineering, the landscaping,
and most important is the authority requirement. After you want to put all this thing in, does it pass the authority requirement?
Yeah, so this is like I take this opportunity to answer, right? Why we need all the space within the facilities deck? It's government requirement. So now the most crazy one that I saw now, a lot of people don't know one is in your condo or apartment, right? There's a bilik mayat. A lot of people don't know. Because it always built hidden within a certain corner. Only maintainers, aunties will know. Oh, itu bilik tak tahu apa punya. They don't even put the label to the room. So they put it, then after handover, they just take out the label. So it's just an empty room. Yeah, so all these are actually imposed to government, right? And what do you think about status theory housing? Like the rumah whips, rumah selengokku. Do you have a lot of problems with?
I think for rumah whip is definitely good government initiative, right? All these affordable housing are good initiative. But again, we have to answer this question. You are targeting the B40 segment. First of all, is it easy for them to acquire the loan? And secondly, if you're talking about a be 250,000 IMM or rumah whip or 300,000, do they even have the 10% down payment? Unless they can get 100% loan. That's why, it is, well, if they can easily get the loan approved, then obviously no issue.
Yep.
So that is the part where, some of them will face.
Yep. That's why now I think the Chagamas, they also just take out like no more 100% loans. So a lot of people got a bit concerned, but I never seen anyone with 100% loan before. Although we have these kind of things.
Yeah.
Because the weird thing is this. The richer you are, the easier your loan application will be. Even DSR.
Yeah.
They implement very high on low income people. Like if your income is only like 3,000, right, it's very difficult to get loan. But if your income is like 5,000 and above, right, it's way easier. 12,000, they don't even ask questions. You want more loan?
Yep.
So that's the unfortunate truth that this new government, I think they are trying to use the EPF a bit more, involve them a bit more. If you can use your EPF as collateral, right? The last time they want to use the government as a collateral. We guarantee the loan so he can take the loan. But you see a lot of rumah whip also auction, right? Rumah whip also auction, Prima also auction. Then I don't know how because if you implement more government or statutory housing, right, it only push up the open market products, man.
Yeah.
Eventually, you will lose some form of money there.
Yep.
Then you need to take out money somewhere.
Yes.
So you load up to the open market one, no? Everybody take like 1-2%, right?
Yep.
Until now, there's no right answer.
Yeah. I mean, see, assuming you're talking about 300,000, see, versus an open market product, maybe 350,000. First of all, I'm not restricted in terms of rental or sale later on. Then secondly is that it may be zero down.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about my down payment.
Yeah.
So those are the consideration, when they make, their choices whether to go.
Yeah. Important. The packaging also makes a lot of difference. Like, although this is cheaper, but I need to pay 40,000 upfront, right? Versus a product that is 50,000 more expensive. I don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Then I can, even I got 40,000, need not to go all in, ma. Then hopefully, the housing minister, I don't think he will listen to this.
No, I think, I mean, yeah, fine that deal.
Really?
Yep.
Or like, what if I can get him into the podcast? Whoa, crazy. Whoa. Hello, Mr. Nga. No, YB Nga, Mr. Nga, like my friend. Anyway, in your shoes, because you have seen the evolution of media from press to now digital, right? What's your take on it?
We cannot deny the fact that we are moving definitely towards the digital, the social media. And even if you talk about, let's say, my parents, they're already no longer reading newspaper.
No. Or your parents also not?
My parents also not reading newspaper. I mean, they are sometimes on YouTube, and they get the news basically online.
Oh, no wonder I got 72-year-old people emailing me already.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, yeah lor. So, this is the fact. But of course, we do, continue to support some of the traditional medias as well. But without a doubt, definitely, the digital is actually the way to go ahead.
So that affects your allocation of budget. When there's only a fixed amount, is the art form is how do you allocate?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one brings you more revenue?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, these are a bit more sensitive. Okay, a bit more sensitive. What do you think about awards?
Awards?
Those property awards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I want to share. I mean, awards are something that when I first came into the industry, as a layman, I look at, wow, this development has so many awards. I was like amazed, by this must be something good.
Yeah.
So that was from the layman point of view.
Yep.
So of course, for awards that we submit, we are also selective. And I think that also, when we submit, it also shows that, hey, actually your product, it meets certain requirements to win that particular award.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is some form of marketing, I would say.
It's like a verification and that.
Yeah.
If you win, I think valid ones, right? It's like GBI, QLASIX. So, QLASIX is a local version of build quality.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of discrepancy of how they evaluate.
Correct.
Because how do you determine the quality of the building before it's even completed? No, right?
But QLASIX, we do it on completion.
Yeah. So, but some is not. Some the building not ready, right? They got QLASIX score already.
I see. Okay.
Okay. Then a lot wins. Then the others, if you win a lot of awards, architectural awards, those design award whatsoever, right? Based on renderings.
Okay.
So my argument is always is it an CGI competition or is it a real life design competition? And now, after reviewing so many projects, right, you look back, a lot of these award-winning projects, right, does not necessarily mean it's a great investment, man.
Sure.
There's a huge discrepancy. Okay. So, this might not be a very popular statement. It comes from me, not him, me, right? I don't believe in any awards, man. I know it's for exposure, I just want my name out there, people talk about it, right? But actually, do buyers really pay attention to it? It's a good to have.
I don't think buyer nowadays pay attention to the awards because, I mean, they can get information easily, right? Whether, of course, then they can decide themselves whether this is a good project or whether this project fits into their expectations.
Yep.
So whether the award is there or not, I don't think it actually
matters.
Yeah.
Me too. I really don't think to me, right, if this property developer has a lot of awards, it means two things only. There's not enough track record. So they need a lot of external verifications. Second is they got very deep pockets.
Well, maybe I put it this way.
Okay.
Say for example, when we have done a particular projects, right, and the concept is really good, okay, and we find that we are, the team feel very proud about that particular projects. So that is when they actually submit in to, for whatever awards. It could be high rise, best green or whatever, So that is when they see, hey, where does my project stands as compared to the rest? So at least with that, they know, okay, wow, if we manage to win the award, that means at least there's something that they did right.
Yeah.
So there's
yeah. I think if you come from that intent, right? If you come from that angle, that's very noble.
Yeah.
But who is marking the papers?
Yeah.
Another big question. If you're a seasoned property specialist, very good lah, right? But now a bit lancy, a bit action already now. I don't think anyone has visited enough projects in their life. I think my guy here visit more properties than them. And not visits that we measure everything, how this shoot works. This shoot is just so small. I can't even put my milk bottle in, then how does it work? All these kind of things. I realize there's a lack of practicality still.
Yeah.
Because now if you look into the market, auction market, very popular one, right, comes with great architecture. But great architecture comes with great maintenance costs that nobody's want to pay.
Well, or maybe I just put in a perspective whereby, say for example, nowadays, all the children have to go to school, and they have to, after that they go to universities, they get their degrees, but that doesn't mean that they will do well in their life. So similarly, that part of getting the certificate is okay. I'm qualified for certain things.
Yeah.
I've passed. Yeah. So award to me is some form of that kind of certification.
Okay.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean like what you say. It doesn't mean that this is a great investment.
Yeah. So when you guys are actually looking at properties, right, do take note that it's good to have, not ultimately. So like if you have a channel that walks around, talks about all the comparison, have the median price, what's the rental like, then I think those are way more.
Yeah. It's just like, say for example, you buy a car, let's say they say, this car, will have won this award. Then obviously then say if let's say I'm actually in the midst of buying a car, then I will look at it, okay, let me do some study. Is it really that good or not, So of course you have to do your own due diligence as in whether this is the right product.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a car guy.
No.
Last time I didn't know how they price cars. So it's like, you gotta look at the rim size, you gotta look at the amount of airbag, the amount of specification, the material used. Is it leather? Is it cushion? Is it plastic at the front? So the trimmings, is it bronze finish or brush finish or whatever? All those, to me, is a car can drive can already, right? That's how you property. You also think like you have extra facilities and all, which is the next question. I'm not go nowhere. Like the new trend, right?
Yeah.
What is the next level trend that you see within a project, a high rise that you think will have?
I think for now we are still trying to basically find the balance. I wouldn't say it's a trend, but rather we are still focusing a lot more on first home buyers, people that is buying for own use. And as much as you want to be, say for example, you want to put in a lot of stuff, but that would jack up the price. So that's where we want to find that balance.
Okay.
Yeah. Providing good enough of, I would say, facilities or amenities, and then create some form of differentiation as compared to others, and yet keeping the price in the affordable range.
But affordable is always very dependent on location.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I 500,000 in Bangsa, I buy right? 500,000 in Rawak, I take a look and see first right? So I think that's very important to take note also when marketeers all talk like that one. but the what I see is now like there's a lot of EVs conversation, right?
Yep.
Electrical vehicles, like the plug points, how many plugs. Like all condos, seriously, you even buy EVs, like no point.
Yep.
Nowhere to charge or whatsoever. Then the implementation of how to pay per charge, whose maintenance are those, right? I think you have real life experience with that.
Yep.
Then like I think your project got two.
Well, one of our earlier project, which we completed, because those projects we planned way say back in 2017.
Yeah, people forget that project takes 4 years to complete, 5 years to complete.
Correct. So those days we hardly even thought about EV charging, those kind of thing. But anyway, we have provided like maybe few numbers of it. But then the thing is, we realized the amount of drivers that are driving EVs in the affordable segment, there are not many. Let's say, for example, if you look at cars itself, right? Hybrid, they are plug-in hybrid or non-plug-in hybrid. And a lot of Japanese cars are still the non-plug-in hybrid, which actually you don't need to charge anyway.
Yeah. Oh, wow, good point though. It needs to follow the range also, because EV is damn expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, because I reviewed the EV6 Kia.
Okay.
So they tell me it's very nice. You say not nice, directly throttle, directly you can feel the impact, whatever. 300,000 Hello. For a toy car That's how I label it. That's why I was not invited back to the show already. For my third vehicle, I spent 300,000 and everybody says it's cheap. Your apartment how much? 420 only Your car 300,000. Whoa. So that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, how practical is it? Like when you highlighted it needs to fall back to segment. I think that's very important. And how was your first property experience like?
My first property, okay, wow. Okay, my first property, I still remember those days. Back in, I can't remember when was that. Quite a number of years back. I was basically looking for.
How old you bought it now?
I can't remember. I think 20 plus years old.
It's 21 to 29. 25.
should be around there. Should be around there. Yeah. I still remember, I have to, of course, survey around. And I mean that, okay, those days I have a few priorities. My number one priority is
Car.
No. Those days, my number one priorities was that it must be near to LRT station. Because those days there's no MRT, right?
Oh, that time LRT already,
Already LRT, all right? But very limited. And then my second priority, of course, it has to meet my budget. Then the third priority is it has to be still near to the city center, right? Because that's where I work and near my parents' house as well. So I still remember we visited a few places. I still remember PJ, even right up to those days, One Utama area, though, it's still not well developed yet. And also Cheras, so there are few places, I was doing some survey and comparison and whatnot. So long as that particular property meet these three of my criteria, I end up buying that particular property. Yeah.
Where have you bought last time?
Cheras. I used to stay in Cheras, that's why.
Yeah. So, but it's because you grow up in Cheras? You grow up in PJ,
no. I used to stay in Cheras with my parents. Then we move around. Yep. I still remember there was time whereby I used to shift house like every 2 years.
Wow.
So I used to stay in PJ. I used to stay in Cheras. Used to stay in quite a number of places. Yeah.
Okay, is it true that Cheras people will always move back to Cheras?
For me, no. Okay, but eventually, I think most of the Cheras guys
still will go back to Cheras.
They wouldn't want to move out of that particular area. Just like, you have a stay in Kepong, we wouldn't want to call Kepong.
Yeah, so that's the theory that I have. Everyone else, right, will shit on Puchong, but Puchong people will say bye bye Puchong, man. And convenient lah,
except me.
Yeah lah. External people will not want to move in, but Puchong people itself, like, wow. Subang Jaya also. People from Subang, wow, Subang, big Subang. But then people like from Cheras who don't want to go Subang, so far, right?
Yep.
So is it a high rise? How much was it like last time?
It was a high rise, 1,003 square feet. Those days were selling like 170K.
Was it expensive? 170,000 last time?
Well, of course, at that point of time, to me, it's expensive, and you have to literally save up for the down payment.
Or last time the loan and interest rate, how much at that time?
I actually cannot remember, but I know, I still remember. Let's talk about cars. Interest, those days, you're talking about 7% for cars. Interest.
Now it's like what?
Now maybe 3%.
Oh, I don't buy cars, so 3%. New cars is cheaper. Old car, second hand is higher, right? Yeah. Or the Mercedes one got a 2.88 one. So it's very low lah, right? I have no idea, so don't listen to me about cars. 7%. So you buy what? So when you buy that time,
but I remember those days I took the fixed repayment amount.
Yeah. So it's not fluctuating.
Yeah. And then halfway through I refinanced, changed because the interest rate went down. So I basically
Okay.
But anyway, the house already, slowly settled already.
Oh, you still holding it until today?
Yeah. Just collect rental.
Wow. Nice. So okay. The perspective of having because I was like everyone else, landed home was the way to go for me lah. Last time, apartment not considered home, fake home, right? But until because you have a family, a very big family, right? You have 3 kids. 3 kids. Luckily I didn't say more. Remember correctly, 3 kids. So when you tell me that you like high rise because the facility deck is almost 100% used if you have children.
I put it this way. As my kids are growing up, facilities become something that is important to me because there's where I can spend time with my kids. Yep. And the place that I'm currently staying, I actually spend a lot of time with my kids. Yeah. Be it your swimming pool or be it whatever.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I myself, currently,
working out,
and I'm using the gym facilities. Yeah. So
that actually changed my entire understanding of modern high rises.
Yeah.
Last time people all don't want all the facilities as cheap as possible. That's a place to stay. Actually, it only makes sense when you have a kid. Then now the current place I'm staying, right? After staying there, I realized how important to have a shaded playground.
Okay.
Now my kid look at it rain, he will cry one. Raining. He's 2 years old. Raining. Cannot go and play. So then he very sad. So like if there's a lot of projects that we visit nowadays got shaded one, right? Oh, that's like the best. Even raining, I take the lift down, they can still play. So that's very nice. And swimming pool also. Like I think adults don't swim a lot unless you're a swimmer lah. If you swim once a month, that is a bit wasteful. But if you have a kid, right?
Yeah.
You really appreciate. And something about his project is I look at it, right? There's a degree of different children facilities. When 0 to 2, there's a different set of facilities. 2 to 5 is different. 7 to 11 is a whole different playground. Because I mean, an 11-year-old come to the playground, right?
Yep.
I'll be very paranoid with you. How they jump around, kick my kid around, and they're very... So, how I wish people will be able to tell all those when they visit a facility that... But again, you visit more than you will understand. Yeah. And that's something very important, especially if you guys are choosing a own stay product. If it's fully constructed, I would really suggest a walk around.
Yeah.
If not, ultimately you're paying on the maintenance fee, right? If you really use everything, it's not that expensive. Right?
It is not. Yep. If you are paying for gym membership, I think is how much is that really?
Oh, I pay a lot for gym. I pay with 2 gyms with a private trainer. Yeah. Also, what was it like, right? 170,000, and you witness the growth of property price. Like, I think you literally see how it go crazy, right?
Yeah, I think definitely the property price has gone up a lot. There was a time I was even giving a talk on inflation. And
just you got give talk on it?
Yeah, I was sorry. Even a talk. Yeah. So I was showing some statistics and whatnot, and we just look back at say 1997. Those the Asian financial crisis. I mean those days I just came out to work. I still remember, one plate of chicken rice cost me only 3 ringgit. And today the same plate of rice is easily 9 to 10 ringgit, and there's 300% increase over just this over 25 years or so.
And it's not premium chicken rice yet.
Yeah, this is not even premium yet. We're thinking about coffee shop chicken rice.
Yeah.
So I think same thing goes to the property as well. Of course, in between, I also have invested other properties and whatnot. So I think importantly is we need to know that inflation is real. Yeah. And I'm actually concerned for my kids. Hey, when they grow up, are they going to struggle with even finding a home? Yep. So this is something that I would think, for myself and even for my kids.
Crazy, from a property developer concerned about the kids. Yeah, so how I wish people would understand this concept more, because there's a conversation where a lot of people say expect property bubble to happen, which is funny to me, because now when we talk about affordability problem, on the other side we talk about property bubble, oversupply lah, and it's going to burst lah, probably it's going to come down now. But at one junction, people cannot afford to buy. This is our news media lah. Whatever popular.
I think for my personal experience, I think let's look back at say 2008, the economic crisis again, right? And I still remember those days, Mont Kiara, a lot of owners are selling off their units because they were saying, there will be a bubble, expatriates are living, and there was a time I actually went into Mont Kiara. I go and survey every single condo in Jalan Kiarawan.
Do you still remember the name?
I remember the names. Like some of the names I remember.
Aston or
there was a few like Bayou.
All this. Wow,
no, those days are you're talking about the rest of the new ones is not even there. Like 163s. All this is not even there yet.
Yeah.
So I was just I was visiting condo by condo, and every single day I was viewing something and I end up managed to get one unit, 1,004 square feet, fully furnished. Low density, you're talking about 200 over units.
Wow.
And guess how much I managed to get? 1,003 fully furnished freehold.
Okay, at this current junction price, I think it's 800 to 900.
Yeah. 2008, I got it for 450,000.
Ooh. So now it's still holding?
Otherwise, I sold it off during the good times.
Oh.
I sold it off at about 700 plus.
Yeah, then or not.
So I think, again, it's like you probably need to do some survey and study a little bit of the market trends and a little bit of track records. when is the good time to go in. Of course, I'm not telling you, it's like, it's not like buying stocks,
Yeah.
So you also have to look at your own capabilities and whatnot. Yeah.
So if now, like, in other words, I'm hearing, like, would you advise a 25-year-old person, like, if imagine if you're 25-year-old, your kid is 25 years old, do you encourage them to invest in properties?
Why not?
Why not, right? But of course, not blindly lah.
Not blindly, yes.
Not everything also buy lah, right? I'm now still figuring, like, how to, like, because you are I won't say a person with age, but with experience, and and the thing is, because you are within the field, and like when the moment when you do marketing pricing, right, we always very sensitive to costs. Why the higher the cost I add my margin, that's my selling price. And I still remember back then we have so much clarity on what's the construction cost like, what's the land cost like, we add swimming pool, this spec, the selling price is gonna be this. If we take out this, it's gonna be cheaper. Then it's very worrying when we look at the construction costs. Then at the same time, all our colleagues are complaining about being underpaid. So everybody wants higher salary, right? You want higher salary, land cost going up, material cost going up, then the market expects property price to drop. From where? Because the worst, right, is they don't launch anymore. There will be less product, so there will be less launches. And guess what? Like the first quarter, a lot of property, like the amount of launches very little. Buyers are still crazy over property. If you need a house, you still need a house, ma.
Yep.
Guess what happens? Less launches, prices went up. Sales become very good.
Yep.
Suddenly the project now there's this trend like within like Bukit Jalil area, right? Almost every project, right, hot selling, man.
Yep.
And to a concern where sometimes I think that it's overpriced, people still buy because there's nothing else. So if you wish less people launch, also problem. Then when you have a lot of people launching, I think it's always good when you have a lot of different players playing to fight for your money. I think that's the best. But a lot of people then worry about property bubble. What's your take on property overhang?
You see, first of all, we also have discussed on this topic. You need to dissect where are the overhangs. You'll be surprised, a lot of overhangs are actually on the B40 segments.
Wow.
Or, of course, those you're talking about luxurious above 1 mil. But if you're talking about anything that ranges, say, from 300,000 to, say, less than 1 mil, it's always moving. I've done, a couple of projects. In fact, all my projects is all sold. Yeah. Because it's within that range.
Because that's the major, like, 60% of Malaysians within that range, middle income, right? Wow, overhang. I'm very used to the Johor story. Because the high rises that last time we built, right? those who bought, I seriously feel them sorry for them. Like now after you auction, right, you still owe money to the bank. That's very sad. But then that's where a mismatch, a very clear mismatch. A landed property is at 400,000 to 500,000, but a 1,000 square feet condo is like 1.2 million. Like what? Right? For a Johorian, they absolutely cannot tahan. So there's a lot of overhang there. To me, it's just over ambitious pricing. A pricing that does not match the market. That's why overhang lah. So good for you lo, tai say lo. Right? Sometimes as a developer, you wanted your ambition ma. Your strategies didn't work ma. So you just solo the failure lah, or solo the lose lah. Then I until now I'm still struggling to see the connection over property overhang effects. Like a lot of people are like, now a lot of property overhang, Sean, you're still buying. The overhang has nothing to do with me one more. When there's less overhang, so I make more money, man. No. So that's why, like, I don't understand the correlation of how property overhang is more of a developer versus a government kind of segment. In Singapore, like I went to a talk, the government will have tax if you cannot fully sell your project. That's why the developers are very cautious about if I cannot sell, I need to pay tax also. So they are the game plan is fully sold. Here, Malaysia, never mind one ma. Our developers all very cash rich one ma.
Well, I put it this way. Okay, just give you this scenario. Say, assuming that the particular product you have, say, 10% profit, right? And
is that a norm now? 10%?
Talking about maybe net lah,
right? Net 10%.
Say, assuming, right? And you take 4 years to to complete. If you divide over the 4 years, you better put your money in the FD.
My point exactly.
Yeah. Why go through all the hassle to build?
I still remember I kena lecture by the CFO of our old company. You all waste so much time. Huh, Sean, you tell me you work very hard, right? Waste time. You put all okay, like tell me how much your cost or whatever, profit margin 12. Let them 12, I thought very proud already. Everyone assumes that developer makes at 25%, 28%, right? If you have the land 30 years ago lah, so now you build today, okay, maybe still got lah. If you buy at current price, right, well, I don't think so lah. Then if you have 12% margin, very proud, but you divide by 4, provided you fully sold, only you have 12%. Provided your build quality is so good, nobody holds back your payment, then you have 12%. Provided your bridging loan, you pay everything on time, then only 12%. If I just keep my money and just keep the land, right, it appreciates more than 12. Why are you all doing?
Otherwise, we'll be out of job.
Yeah, so that was the argument that I had with my CFO. So if you look at pure numbers, right, property development is not exactly the best money-making business now. So my worry is that I keep encouraging like, oh, people join property developer, right? With more expectation of property developments making a lot of money, government will impose more regulations trying to keep people happy to impose on developers. Okay, now you all need to build rumah whip. Now you all swimming pool must have, everything must have, must be building CGBI certified, must be livability, must have livability index, must have this index, must have that index. You think who's going to pay, right? And if one day if really the market cannot absorb, it's almost impossible to build such products anymore, right? No one is building. Everybody got no home. Who will be the last laugh, right? Existing property investors. That's why I'm still heavily acquiring, because I do foresee that it's only going to be a very steep road ahead for our kids, right? It's almost impossible to buy already. In the future, I foresee people are going to brag about where they rent. Wow, you stay 163, wow, rich are you? Wow, the rental very high leh. People no longer think about ownership already. Wow, you stay Bangsar, wow, Telawi there you can afford, wow, the high rise there. That's why I encourage more kindness to developers. If not, it's only going to be all the big boys. And all big boys, I hold back a bit, you hold back a bit, shake out the market a bit. Wow, they're all the small one, all dying. My friend in Moa, he's a developer. So after he told me the door frame price increased by 5 times. The Ajia door frame metal. So in one house, there's like 15 doors, 5 times of the cost, right? Suddenly, when he had all the profit, 28% of what landed. Oh, very good. Everybody go celebrate. After COVID, right, now losing money. Because everything fully sold, go through all the products, right? Now they are actually losing money. Right?
Especially during the past few years, pandemic.
Then like now, they need to pay way more money to hand over the same things at lower quality. Not because that they don't want to do better, there's no resources. Then customer come, like, you cheat money one. And then, wow.
You know, Sean, I mean, you do gym, right?
Yeah.
One of the project you visited, we are using Techno Gym, right? And guess what? Price increased 100%.
100% meaning double.
Double. And I can tell you, my new project, I'm not able to afford it. So which means things are actually going up unless you're willing to pay the price.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like gym equipment, like we had the conversation with the supplier, right? Like my rower, I have a rower at home. I bought it during pandemic. I didn't know rowers will make money. Now, if I were to release my rower back to any gym, right, they will eat back at a premium one.
Wow.
Okay? Because there's no stocks in the market. Wow. I should have bought more. So I can make money out of it. So, that's why like sometimes it's all this very harsh truth that I'm trying to convey to the audiences, right? Anyway, it's not all gloomy and all. Now we get to take action, and now we have a lot more information. Like last time when you do research, right? How do you do research?
Physical. A lot of physical callings. You have to visit the project site. Okay. Now, very easy.
Now, watch YouTube.
Watch your channels.
So that's why, and it's so convenient. Now, if I were to search for a project, there's different portals, and there's the Laoyat forum, there's YouTube comment section, there's everything. Right? You have a very wholesome view before even stepping out of the house. But why are we not doing? Still blindly.
You don't even have to visit the site. Just go Google Street and because it may not be updated, at least you don't have to go to the site.
It's so much way easier, right, compared to your days.
Yeah.
So what are the plans for you actually, like in terms of investment? Like, what is your...
For myself, investment, of course now as my kids are growing up, I will pay more attention on my kids. So the investment will be more towards them, instead of just looking at property. I mean, I will still continue to look into property investment. In fact, I have one unit going to hopefully VP by end of this year.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
want a word? Oh,
Yeah,
your very own one, or you...
my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Then after this episode is out, congratulations on the promotion. Che, right? And something to point out here, right? A lot of people might not know like what is his. He is a very significant person in my life because at my toughest time, like another story, I was kicked around like a ball. I transferred out from project management. All I had was jeans and torn out clothes. But on site, you don't have to dress up. Then when I got transferred into his department, suddenly I need office wears. And I didn't have money. To the segment, I only had one shirt and one pants. Then I was fat already. I cannot fit into the old clothes, right? Then you asked me to buy new clothes, right? I was at this phase where can I just not dress up in the office? Since I'm going to go to site anyway, right? But he always everyday different tie, matching ties, matching shirt and all, right? Then I think he got frustrated. He gave me his old clothes so I can look a bit more presentable in the office. So people will take me more seriously. Like, you look into this guy, like, dress out like so sloppy. People thought that I'm a subcon. Who is this subcon in your office sit there, like, doing Instagram, So here I also want to extend the gratitude, right? For thank you for being so kind. Well, at that time, seriously, if you don't have all the shirt, right? Every day I gonna bark. Sean, where's your shirt, Sean? Imagine you have an employee who can't even afford to buy shirt. That was me. But of course, his shirt not all very nice lah. Some shirt was so big. I
Actually, to be honest, those days I was
quite huge also.
yeah.
Whoa, but some of the shirt, right? Like, okay, I still have some at home. Actually, no, I didn't throw.
Okay.
I actually fun me when my mother really throw the shirt. But now it's like all mold already lah because I cannot fit, and some got one I wear until right the ketiak here all lubang.
Oh,
Then I'm still wearing it for romantic reasons, of course. But then it was warmed within the very cold corporate setting.
thank you.
So that was very, very significant. I'm going to try it. But then because of that, right, that gave me a very different outlook towards leadership. Because everyone else, like, when we have different departments, right, when I'm against you, we were very brutal. And you see, marketing never perform. I give you good products, you don't know how to sell. You easy to sell because our products are good. Then everybody try to fight for the pride, fight for the good things, right? But no one actually like, hey, you need help or not? And you were one of those. So that's why this is the guy that I learned marketing from. Now you are in the new journey of creating new contents.
Yep, I'm learning from you.
Yeah, so
Yep.
everybody can start, right? I encourage everybody to start. So I think by the time this is out, maybe 2 weeks down the road, if you set up a new page, right, I'll just put your page down below. People can all go support, say hi to Chris, right? And he will be, I don't know what's his direction, but I hope he can share more insights about the corporate culture and things like that. Awesome leadership. I hope more bosses will be like you, more practical, more focused, less bullshitty shit. Yeah. Luckily, I ended up with you lah. If not, if any other marketing person, right, wow, siao liao, sure resign man. But anyway, I guess that's all. Any last words that you wish the younger version of you would hear?
Well, I mean, as much as you learn from me, I always learn from even my own staff, like people like you, right? I always learn from each and every one of their strength, right? And in fact, I always even use your story to inspire my stuff. I still remember those days, when you were doing that Instagram.
Yeah.
Within the first year, I still remember.
Yeah.
You actually hit 10,000 followers without spending a single cent.
Yeah.
And I look back at the content, I say, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I always, scroll back to the first page and I show my stuff. Look, this is how people do it. So those are the things I think, even for the younger generation, they don't see the hard work behind. And these are the things that they need to, if you really want to be successful, you need to put your effort in.
Yeah.
And you need to work for it. Yes, you may not be there yet, but eventually you'll be there.
Yeah. Success, there's no coincidence. And just to clarify, right, last time Instagram cannot pay money, man. Last time Instagram start, there's no ad products, and this is Instagram on its own. Facebook haven't acquired.
But we are not only talking about that ads that we are paying, but also in terms of creative fee.
Yeah.
Everything is done by you. You know, copywriting is done by you. Literally, we did not spend a single cent.
Yep.
And that is something even, you know.
But that has got into trouble also. But we'll talk that for another time. A lot of board members, you see this joker here, know how to post me? Nah, okay, anyway. I guess that's all. This becomes a very personal podcast altogether. But again, congratulations. Again, all the best with your new journey.
Yeah.
Do support him. I'll put the link down below. And I guess that's all for this round. If you have more marketing professional questions, right, you can always send to him. Like, you can always go to his channel, right? Like, what would be the right things to do, or what would be things. He's very, very helpful. So he's also very new into this social media game. And I'll tell him to reply to you all. And I guess that's all. Thank you very much. See you guys on the next one. Ciao. Thank you.